Welcome, everyone. So glad you're here. If you're a focused learner trying to, truly decode the Spanish language, you are in the exact right place. Today in this explainer, we're going straight to that page 41 grammar box from our source material to master literally one of the most foundational, essential building blocks of Spanish grammar, regular verbs in the present indicative tense. Seriously, have you ever looked at a massive block of Spanish text and just felt completely lost in all those different verb endings? Like, what do they all even mean? Well, today we're going to clear that up completely. By the end of this explainer, you'll see that it's absolutely not about memorizing thousands of random words. No way. It's actually just about understanding a highly predictable, incredibly rhythmic system. So let's jump right in. Okay, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to start with present indicative regular verbs, move through the amar, temer, and partir conjugations, and finally finish up by comparing the endings to reveal a pretty massive shortcut. Section 1. Present indicative regular verbs, the foundation. Now, building a strong foundation is literally everything in language learning. I mean, if you understand the architecture of how a single verb works, you can apply that exact same blueprint to hundreds of new words you encounter out there in the wild. So I want to pose this question directly to you, right out of the gate. What exactly is a regular verb in the present indicative? Take a second to really think about what the word regular implies here. Well, a regular verb is simply a verb that follows a strict, highly predictable pattern. It's kind of like snapping Lego pieces together. In Spanish, all verbs in their base dictionary form, which is called the infinitive, end in either AR, ER, or IR. To conjugate them in the present tense, all you do is just chop off that ending, which leaves you with what we call the stem, and then you add a specific set of letters based entirely on who is doing the action. It's practically mathematical. But hey, don't worry, absolutely no calculators required today. Honestly, this predictable pattern is the ultimate key to unlocking Spanish grammar. So to know exactly which letters to add, we first need our actors, the pronouns. Here's the standard lineup. For the singular side of things, we've got yo for I, tú for you, and él and ella for he and she. Then, moving over to the plural side, we have nosotros for we, ustedes for you all, and ellos and ellas for they. You really want to get these mental rows locked into your brain because they dictate exactly how our verb endings are going to behave. All right, section 2, amar, AR, verb conjugations. The absolutely crucial point here is that amar, which means to love, serves as our perfect go-to model for all regular AR verbs. If you master amar, you instantly, and I mean instantly, know how to conjugate verbs for studying, working, traveling, dancing, the whole shebang. Just notice the rhythm as we move through the pronouns here. The stem stays totally anchored, while the endings carry that really heavy sound. Amo, amas, ama, all the way down to amamos and aman. Do you hear that strong, repeating echoing through the list? It's super consistent. And this brilliantly illustrates how rote memorization becomes incredibly easy once you recognize the fixed, repeating stem. You're literally just locking that am into place and plugging in o as amos, or on, depending on the pronoun. That's the AR formula. It just doesn't change, ever. Moving on to section 3, temer, ER verb conjugations. Let's shift gears a bit and check out our second group to see how this all builds. We'll be looking at our model for ER verbs, which is temer, meaning to fear. Now, just like we chopped off the AR in amar, we're going to chop off the ER in temer, leaving us with our shiny new stem, TEM. Pay really close attention to how that A vowel has suddenly been replaced by an E. The underlying structure is completely identical to our first group, but now we're hearing temo, temes, teme, tememos, temen. See how the core vowel just naturally shifts to match that ER infinitive? Now, here's a totally fascinating quirk. Regardless of whether it's an AR or an ER verb, the first person singular yo form completely ignores the vowel shift. Yo amo, yo temo. It always ends in an O. That is your absolute golden rule for talking about yourself in the present indicative. Okay, section 4, partir, IR verb conjugations. Let's keep this momentum going and jump right into our final verb group. By now, I bet your brain is actively anticipating the pattern before I even reveal it. So let's explore this last regular verb category by isolating our model IR verb partir, which means to depart or to leave. We drop the IR, and our consonant stem becomes PART. Let's walk through these together. It starts with parto, then partes, parte, partimos, parting. Now, If you were paying really close attention to those sounds, you might have noticed something quite surprising. Let's dig into that. Section 5, comparing the verb endings. Okay, get ready for an absolute cheat code. Compare the ER verb temer and the IR verb partir. The endings for the second person singular tu, the third person singular él or ella, and the plural forms for ustedes and ellos or ellas are completely identical. No way, right? You aren't actually learning a whole new set of endings for IR verbs. For tu, they both use s. For ellos, they both use en. It's a huge time saver. In fact, the only place where these two verb groups actually differ is the nosotros or we form. For ER verbs, it's tememos, right? Retaining that E. But for IR verbs, it shifts to an I, becoming partimos. Actually, that's literally the single phonetic difference between conjugating an ER verb and an IR verb in the present tense. If you just remember that one tiny distinction, your workload is basically cut in half. So here it is, your master blueprint. This matrix represents the DNA of thousands of Spanish words. Take a mental snapshot of this. Strong A sounds totally dominate amar. E sounds dominate temer. Partir copies temer almost identically, except for that sneaky partimos down in the nosotros row. And right across the very top, the yo form reigns supreme with the letter O. You now possess the absolute blueprint to confidently conjugate any regular verb you encounter out there. We've broken the code, revealed the underlying patterns, and unlocked the shortcuts from that page 41 grammar box. You now possess the rhythmic blueprints for AR, ER, and IR verbs. So the only question left for you is, which new regular Spanish verb are you going to confidently conquer next? Seriously, don't let this matrix sit idle. Grab a verb, chop off the ending, and apply the formula today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep that focused learning going.